Everything became stupid. Okay, guys, I'm showing you Romance Club. You don't see it for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, you can see that. Nice. So, my friends, welcome everyone. We are gonna play a Romance Club. It's a visual novel game. If you want, stay with us. If you don't want, it was so nice to sing for you guys, really. But now we are gonna stream episode 2, season 3, Lou, Trust, and Faith. The new Is everything okay with the sound? Society is a collection of units. The problem of the units are the problems of the society. It's easier to take to the skies than to stay there. Okay, guys, let me is everything okay? I hope. Yes, everything is okay. Let's go. Episode 2. Dogma Correction. Mark was silent, turning the empty glass over and over in his hands. The last episode ended, guys. This Mark realized that his wife is not clear. Something is wrong with her. She is against politics, maybe, or something like this. Against prior. So we need to understand what's going on with this wifey. Eva told him all of Lou's deductions, leaving out only the part about the vicar's psi abilities. As one of the Inquisition's best interrogators, while listening to his boss, he kept calm and composed. His intense internal reaction was only betrayed by his pallor and clenched fists. Will he believe it? Or will he point at the lack of direct evidence of his wife's involvement? What's the bigger blow to him? His wife's future, his own damaged reputation? I don't know. I'm not sure he even loved her. I'm not sure he even loved her. Maybe he loved her. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Okay, I think anyway he have any feelings. He's sleeping with her every day, so I think, yeah, his wife's future. Do we know anything about him yet, or him? Her or him? Yeah, wife, yeah, is more important than reputation, I think. Anyway, he knows more than anyone else the pressure of interrogations. Of course, he won't sit on the specific one. But he can surely imagine what they could do to Letizia. How dear is she to him? Good question. How dear? She looked at Mark. I don't know, I think the camera don't focus. I'm not in focus. Okay, now I'm in focus. His tightly pursed lips, his stony expression. It's unclear. Once again, Lou noted Jean-Cier's iron resolve. His voice didn't falter when he finally spoke. Are you planning to execute her? Martin answered just as coldly. I will decide later. Mark, Prior? You haven't said anything. Could she have done it? Yes, Letizia might have known. She probably knew you had show up at the farm and at Sardou's. Thanks for follow, welcome. Hello. In an informal setting, they are on a first name basis and speak casually. That shouldn't surprise me. I spoke on the phone in her presence. I mentioned things about my work. If one was willing and attentive, it would not have been difficult to isolate the necessary information. That's on me. Drop it. You didn't break protocol, and to expect you to suspect your own wife, well, you're not that paranoid. Everything stays as it was. I have no doubts, Mark. Jonsieur, shaking his head, spoke with gratitude. Thank you. Everything stays as it was. He means like he is on the prior's side and always will be. Like he is his right hand, and even if he will have to say bye-bye to his wife, and his wife maybe will die, even if it's like that, everything stays like this. Lou could feel Mark and Eva's long history together, their years of shared service. Now you need to calm down, so you shouldn't go home. Letizia must not suspect a thing, and she knows you well. Go somewhere for a couple of days. Claim that it's part of investigation, or if you like, stay with me. Mark reverted to a more formal tone. I don't want to inconvenience you, Monsieur Martin. I'd better leave. Thanks for follow. Take extra security detail with you. Why? Ivo has already made up his mind. I feel sorry for Mark. I like him, by the way. Wait, I didn't saw. It must be very difficult. Welcome. Glancing at the psionics, Jonsieur finally put his glass on the table and asked Eva again. What are we going to do now? We will have to rethink our plans and speed things up. So he knows about Prior's plans more than me and my partner. They already was talking a lot about it, I think. He nodded towards Stone and Lou. We don't know anything about them. Maybe it would make sense. Lou couldn't stand the tension. She asked harshly, What? Mark didn't seem bothered by the tone of her voice. To isolate you for a while. This information is too dangerous. Isolate yourself. If we had done everything your way, the Prior would have been shot by now. He can't go anywhere without protection. Are you going to escort him yourself? Reed, don't forget your place. Eva stopped them. At this rate, you will start a fight in my office. Come to your senses, both of you. Sorry. I apologize. Mark, their background checks were throughout. That's why. Oh my god, what's how to read that word? Not throughout. Just through? That's also why I was interested in hiring someone young. Not much history to check. Besides, Lo and Kay have gotten so deep into this that they can't get out on their own. They understand that very well. Lastly, and most importantly, I absolutely trust them. That's good to hear that you trust. Cohen Lou interrupted the tense pause. I apologize if I am intruding on something that doesn't concern me, but you were talking about some plans, right? Wouldn't it be better if Kay and I were in the know? Mark definitely turned away. The prior thought for a moment, nodded to himself, then said, "After a certain period of service, I came to understand the need to correct part of the church's dogma in light of our existing reality." This is Roman's Club. While Lou... Oh, I'm still on the music section. Sorry, guys. I need to write. It's a Roman's Club. Roma. Okay, ready. Lou was trying to figure out if she had heard him correctly. Stone wasn't confused by his wording and asked, In light of what reality?" That's right, Jonsier doesn't know about the Vicar's psi abilities, and for that reason, nothing needs to be adjusted except for the system through which high-positioned people are tracked. At its worst, this is a severe blow to the church's reputation. The persecution of psionics may cause a crisis of faith for a while, but nothing more severe than that. This language is very hard, really. Mirai vibes, like when we were reading a new Shadows of Saint, I was not talking like this. These stories really have hard words, even in Russian language, by the way. It boils down to the public opinion about the origin of psionics. The emergence. It's really hard. Yep, I don't even know some words. The emergency of psionics is the unfortunate result of a genetic storm. The psi gen is the result of a mutation, though that choice of words is avoided by both spiritual and secular authorities. Regardless, the established opinion about the origin of psionics isn't correct. This is very important information. Listen. What do you mean? A group of scientists involved in eugenics research has established that completely different people can be carriers of the psi gen. In its dormant, deeply recessive form, it is very difficult to identify. Even in psionics, where it's dominant, it can only be detected once it's activated. That is, during puberty, at the final stage of development. Completely different people. Does that also include the pure ones? Yes, but in us, it's so weak that the manifestation of psionic powers is completely impossible. However, an unstable genome creates more favorable conditions for the awakening of this gen. Thank you, Skills. In order to acquire psi powers, emergence. Okay. In order to acquire psi powers, a child must have an unstable or malleable set of genes. Lou rubbed her forehead. Did they prove that we are most likely not a mistake or a failure of nature, as it's commonly believed? They presented a very serious theory, which is based on the claim that psionics have existed throughout the history of mankind. Folklore, annals, religious texts of different cultures, recent scientific research in the paranormal field. There is a common thread, the evidence of the existence of psionic abilities. Naturally, at different times, people have described them differently, as directly determined by the level of development of each civilization and its scientific progress. Gods riding on solar chariots and throwing bolts of lightning turned out to be natural phenomena filtered through ancient beliefs. Later on, science uncovered the cause of electrical discharges in the sky and explained the movements of the sun, moon, and eclipses. Understood? Everything depends on the level of knowledge in the world. Yes, when faced with an incomprehensible, inexplicable phenomenon, people are prone to mystification or even denial. So according to the current theory, the same thing happened with psionics. Flames appeared out of nowhere, somewhere lit a fire and led people through the darkness. Obviously familiar with the topic and carried away by the prior story, Mark added, typically by tearing out their own heart, a little bloody, but epic, impressive. But maybe it was someone with bowed their head and shielded themselves from bright light with a cloak, and maybe from their eyes something trickled down onto their chest. Yes. I mean, psionics are better than clear human. They will live longer and they can live in this world. Genetic storm is real, but Big Bada Boom was, yes. But the psionics, their blood is much more healthier. Their gen is much more healthier for living nowadays. They are saving humanity. Psionics are saving this humanity. Instead of saying thanks to them, society and government using them as slaves, and yeah, it's not very cool. Lou swallowed, guessing the end of his thought. Like tears of blood? That's right, Reed. Leaving a stain, but just on the skin surface. Others healed with their hands. They parted water, opening a path along the bottom of the sea, or created water in the desert for years. Eva smiled. The ability to summon fire or rain was generally a mandatory skill for shamans and sorcerers in ancient times, as it was for heroes who suddenly united large groups of people, earning their confidence. Magicians, saints, enlightened monks, witches, angels. The theme of blood is recurrent. Not always trickling from the eyes, but there are another examples. Statues and paintings weeping bloody tears caused a lot of talk and controversy right up to the storm. It's a possible sign of the existence of psionics in history. Lou suddenly realized the gravity of what she was hearing and who was the one telling her. Cold shivers ran through her body. Based on the fact that the Psi gen is found, albeit in a dormant form, in some humans, the authors of this theory analyzed its manifestation and created their own classification system. Barriers, mentors, archivists. Exactly. Throughout history, psionics have been worshipped, persecuted, and then denied as a phenomenon entirely. But the Psygen always awoke at difficult and threatening times for mankind, as it happened nowadays because they had Big Bada Boom and Psy-gen again started to work, because this gen is helping for humanity to be in safe. The above classification came from the desire of scientists to describe the purpose of psionics in what is, in their opinion, a more accurate way. At the right moment, psionics ensure the survival of humankind. How strong is the evidence? How strong is the evidence to support this theory? More than strong enough. Samples belonging to prehistoric humans were studied, including those preserved in sarcophagi. Were bones found that belonged to psionics? No, however, spectral analysis revealed a certain number of nucleotides consistent with a recessive psi genes. Imagine, mademoiselle, humanity as a single organism. Psionics in this case are lymphocytes. Oh my fucking god, the English language is so hard. Thank you, of course, darling, that you wrote such an amazing and hard novel, but really I love that novel very much, but it's really hard to read it, guys, so you can read it by yourself. So lymphocytes. Of course, it isn't necessary to draw an analogies. This is lymphocytes. Of course, it isn't necessary to draw analogies. This is just an example to give you a better general understanding of how everything works. When large groups of people were on the verge of extinction, they were those who ensured the survival of humanity. They helped to fight threats or even entirely prevented them. They could call themselves anything, going back to the beginning of recorded history: shamans, prophets, even gods. A lymphocytes. Lymphocytes? On the brink extinction, for example. Sites? Lymphocytes. The 14th century, the so-called Black Death in Western Eurasia and North Africa. The tried out that surface talk. Oh, Mirai vibes. Even your words are so hard for me now. In several years, according to various sources, it claimed the lives of 75 to 200 million people. Entire cities died out. The population of Europe was halved. Then, according to history books, the epidemic subsided. Some historians are puzzled by how such a monstrous and rapidly spreading disease stopped on its own. Vaccines were out of the question in those days. Population density dropped and people stopped coming into contact with those who were infected. 17th century London, an epidemic kills 8,000 citizens in 1 week. There were up to 100,000 victims in total. And again, history says the disease subsided in a city that was still densely populated. Okay, healers fought diseases, sure, but why are the others needed? It wasn't just epidemics that killed people. They were droughts and wars. How could psionics stop a war? At times, the parties at war seemed to enter into rather strange and sudden agreements. However, they fucking shit, how to read that fucking word, cease to appear unusual if you assume that strong empaths intervened. I don't know how you listen to my stream, guys. It's impossible, I think. They brought together... CS, okay, thank you. They brought together different philosophies and ideologies. Lu rubbed her temples, trying to fully absorb that information. The builders. Water is the basis of life. K-masters then keep that life warm, ensuring development, or they burn it down when necessary. Archivists are able to slow and delay development for a long time. That's right, Lou. At critical moments, warriors would protect the people and build houses. You all guarantee a much higher chance of survival for humans as a species. Lou's voice dropped to a whisper. We are not mutants. No. Oh, I'm trying dry vibes. Excuse me, but if psionics are healthy cells in the human body, why can't we reproduce? And why weren't there many of us before? The human population has never declined this much. It seems that the smaller the population, the more vulnerable it is, and the greater the need for protection. Before the storm, psionics had practically disappeared. There were no triggers to prompt their appearance. There was no threat. As for reproduction, you are not sterile. Almost. And yet not. Simply put, in order to increase fertility to normal levels, a psionic must fulfill a number of conditions. But according to this theory, psionics can and have become starting points for the appearance of immunities against a number of diseases. They develop protective properties in their blood. For these to work, we have to pass on immunity by genetic inheritance. Yes, and that's the point. In the past, psionics could have normal or even high fertility rate, allowing maximum transfer of immunity to a large number of descendants. I understand everything that happens now because I was reading that novel for 3 times, guys. That's why. Mark confirmed the prior's words once more. First time I was playing in Russian language, I even did not understood nothing. Second time was clear. Some diseases have disappeared altogether. For example, the sweating sickness killed within 24 hours of its first symptoms appearing. If a person survived, they didn't develop immunity and could be infected again. However, the disease was last recorded in the 16th century. Scientists haven't figured out why the infection disappeared. Diseases. And then the genetic storm happened. One of its main causes was overpopulation, which forced people to increase the yield and fertility of livestock. The human species has responded to the problem of overpopulation as a threat to its existence. It prepared the ground, unstable humans with a malleable genome. And then it planted viable sprouts, the psionics, already trained to fight the new danger. And their fertility increases the further away they move from a densely populated area. How old is this theory? Very. several decades old at least. Psionics are useful, that's why we are kept in the city. It's not necessary per se. It's more complicated than that. It's not enough to just move to the village. The body needs some time to adapt, to take in a new living environment. You need to really minimize contact with others, which is next to impossible inside the perimeter. Of course, it will take several generations for this property to spread and gain a foothold in humans as a species. However, if that happens, people will no longer be able to reproduce as much as they did before the storm. There will never be cities with populations in the millions. And accidental pregnancies are out of the question. Children will almost always be planned. According to a rough estimate, if people in the 21st century had this kind of natural birth control, the population of the planet instead of 8 billion would have never ever even exceeded 4 billion. However, I think these numbers are pure speculation since it's impossible to conduct research on a subject like this and there isn't enough data for analysis. Monsieur Martin, is there any other evidence to support this theory? Eva looked at Monsieur. He seemed to sigh silently. A few years ago, a psionic woman spent a long time near the perimeter in a very small settlement, guarding a certain inquisitor. Lou figured it out. Protecting you, Monsieur Jonsieur. Right. Lou had her suspicious as to why it was Mark who took over the narrator role at that moment, but she waited in silence. Well, I wasn't married then, and we had intercourse regularly. Okay. Lou tried to detect any shadow of emotion in his face or in his voice. Nevertheless, Jonsieur didn't betray his usual self. You and the prior killed your emotions at every execution and with every death sentence. Of course, we didn't even think about the possibility of conception. However, Eva entered the room without knocking, his footsteps steady. Mark rose to greet the young interrogator supervising him. Monsieur Martin, thank you for coming. Hello. Drop the formalities, Mark. What happened? Jonsieur nodded toward the door. Are you alone? The driver and the guard remained in the car. Shall we sit down? What's the matter? Eva already knew his subordinates well and he could see that something serious had happened. Jane is pregnant. Mark. We checked 4 times. It's mine. That's for sure. There were no other partners. Eva pressed his hands together, resting his fingertips against each other. He was silent for a few minutes thinking. Then he asked, Who else knows? Nobody. I don't know what to do. Report it, of course. Do you understand what this could mean for everyone? It's a matter of genetic security. Scientists can make breakthroughs, important discoveries. But it's not up for discussion. We have to report this. On the right track toward building an excellent career, the interrogator took out his phone, requesting a secure communication channel. Priority urgent. Information should go to the prior's direct channel. Interrogator Martin. Badge number. After the security connected him to the head of the Inquisition. Привет. To the head of the Inquisition, Eva drearily delivered the extraordinary news. Then he looked sideways at Mark. The father? I'll find out. Martin's lively, sharp gaze rapidly began to change. The shadow of surprise that came over him turned into steely coldness. Chancellor felt uneasy. Passiva. So Mark cheated on his wife Letizia. No, Mirai vibes. It was before Letizia. It was before he met Letizia. He hadn't have a wife. It was many years ago. I don't know how many. 10 maybe? 7, 8, 5? I don't know. 5, 6? So he met Letizia later after this situation. Understood, Monsieur Prior. No, I won't need a special team. I will handle everything myself. As I understand, we don't need any more eyewitnesses. I'll manage without the corpse. Of course, I will let you know as soon as I'm done. Mark slowly stood up, looking intensely at Ivo. He disconnected the call and said, "A verbal order has been given to liquidate the woman and anyone who knows about her condition. Burn the body, destroy all evidence." But how? Eva, her, me, we are together. Mark, stop fidgeting, tink. Stop. Eva closed his eyes for only a moment. Then he exhaled slowly and spoke sharply and confidently. Don't panic. You heard the call. I didn't mention you. There is no reason to believe that Jane violated ecclesiastical or secular law. And I don't intend to kill anyone without a trial. I find this order unlawful. Jean-Sûr swallowed nervously and said, "A verbal order. The decision was made immediately. Don't you understand? This isn't what we need to focus on right now. So, you need to take her away and get her new documents. There will be a problem with medical control. Okay, we will figure something out." Ivo, what about the baby? What if there is something, I don't know, unusual about it? It's a psionic child, isn't it? Anything could happen. Firstly, we will have some time before the first test. We will find a way to check in advance. Secondly, if there are suspicions that something is wrong, we will hand over the child and the mother, and we will give ourselves up. We will be executed. But we will have to do it, Mark. We swore an oath not to put the population at risk. Of course, at the slightest suspicion of danger. Ivo. Yes? This thing you're doing. Thank you. Believe me, I'm not doing this only for you and her. I don't like what's happening. Mark, you will never be able to get close to Jane again. She will have to disappear, and there should be nothing tying you two together. And moved her elsewhere. The girl was born there. I moved her, And no one found out? She simply left her home. The prior in office at the time received a report about the liquidation supposedly carried out near the settlement. The psionics personal file was classified and marked as missing. Jane arrived in a village very far away from her original home, carrying the documents of a person who never existed. She wasn't in the database, so she didn't have to pass any tests. For the neighbors' sake, she pretended that she was donating blood. She lived quietly, never attracting the attention of the police. She didn't work because of the small child in her care. According to the story we created, she moved there because her husband died. She inherited his fortune. I used to pass through there sometimes. I personally... Hey, welcome. I'm okay. How are you? I personally took blood samples from her and her daughter and brought them to a doctor I knew for general health evaluation. It wasn't a rapid test and wasn't recorded anywhere. However, if deviations had been found, they would have shown. When Jane and I met again, Monsieur, as if remembering something unpleasant, looked away. Upon hearing the request, Eva shook his head. Don't even think about it. It's not a solution. It's sheer stupidity. Nonsense even. You have to do it. You're not a one. Why? She spoke quietly, but not because anyone could hear. It was at the middle of the day, so all socials were working in the greenhouses and there was no one around. It was just hard for her to say that. As long as I am alive, there will always be a risk of her being exposed. The first X-ray or any serious examination will show that I gave birth. Nobody knows you're psionic. You understand this better than I do. I'm her death sentence. I can't take this risk. And the fire, it will hide everything. Do you know what they say around here? New life grows well upon ashes. She's beautiful, yeah? You once reported to the prior himself that you burned my body. Now do it for real. Jane looked at the house where her daughter was asleep. She spoke in a pleading voice. I have to keep her safe. Please, Evo, help me just one more time. Kill me and destroy the evidence. Yeah. You don't have to die. I'm sorry, Monsieur Jansier. I'm sorry. Don't be, Reed. He turned to Lou. It was a long time ago. We agreed that she had think it over and wait for my return. 3 days later, I was on my way back here and I stopped for the night in the village. Eva looked at the house where Jane lived. An officer who was accompanying him on his work trip stood behind the Inquisitor, a little to the side. At a respectful distance, the locals were whispering. Without turning around, Martin asked his guard, "Who is with the child now?" "A neighbor." "Okay, what did you see?" "Monsieur, we have no peer for years. He gets easily drawn in by a woman." "Did you not hear my question?" "I apologize. We were all having a relaxed evening." She made eyes at him and swayed her hips. "So he went to visit her at night. I understand. What next?" "Well, half an hour later we heard screams. That's it. You know the rest." Evo did, indeed. Know the rest. Those who came running to the source of the noise saw Jane and Inquisitor Martin's driver. The man was lying on the floor in a pool of blood. A knife stuck out from his left side. Jane ignored all questions about why she did it, but the furtive glance she threw at Martin was full of triumph and satisfaction. She had cornered him and left him no choice. The attempted murder of an assistant corps officer was punishable by death. Under extenuating circumstances, enforced labor was a possibility, but to do that, an arrest has to be made. If he went through with that, the Inquisition would have found out who Jane was, and all that they had done would have been in vain. How is Pierre? He is hanging in there. I think he will pull through as long as the paramedics get here on time and don't get delayed along the way. The young Inquisitor took a few discreet, deep breaths. Then he called for the village administrator. Prepare any items necessary to transport the child. Diapers, food, whatever else. She will go to an orphanage. Then he turned to the officer and ordered, "Hang the woman." Some of the locals, catching only the indifferent cruelty in Eva's voice, gasped and murmured, "She probably went crazy, poor thing. Just look how happy she looks. She needs to be hospitalized, not..." The man survived. The Inquisitor has no heart at all. "Shut up, idiot. They will hear you and you will be hanged next to her." Ivo heard but ignored them. Glancing at the house again, he added, speaking to no one in particular, "Cremate the body. Scatter the ashes over the crops. New life grows well upon ashes." Auf. There was a pause. She probably should have said something, but Luke couldn't find the words. Kay saved the situation. "Has the girl shown any sign of psionic abilities?" "No, she's already a teenager and meets none of the prerequisites." "She's a teenager. It was 15 years ago? 12? How old is Ivo? 35? Kinda. 35. It's okay, yeah. Lou is 23 maybe? I don't know. Interesting. She infertile but not critically so. A good clinic could easily help her conceive if necessary. According to her documents, her parents were unstable. She lives and studies in an orphanage, an ordinary one for ordinary orphans. She takes standard tests and passes regular medical evaluations. Her immunity is high but not abnormal. She doesn't have the best eyesight. Her other characteristics remain within the normal range. Mark glanced at his empty glass and said nothing. It's ironic, but nonetheless, the fake liquidation of a psionic and my supposed willingness to ruthlessly punish anyone who decided to harm the people who serve the church were exactly the things that helped me build my career and secured me the support of the prior at the time. Later, when I took over his post, I gained access to a lot of data, including those on the theory we told you about. Kay and Lou looked at each other. The empath shook his head slightly. Lou asked her superiors. "And why hide all this?" "Because it's dangerous, Lou. Because it's dangerous. We were..." And Edmund even nodded. "And Edmund. Right. He's also a child of psionics, too. And he hasn't displayed any psionic abilities either. At least not yet. His adoptive mother is unstable. She owes me a favor and will keep the secret." "And the real parents, are they dead?" "No. Now, with my resources, there is no need for that. However, they don't see each other or their son. What about the baby from the factory? That's so sad, guys. They can't see each other. They can't see their child. They have to live this life like this. Can you imagine? It's so hard. Mark nodded. An anonymous parental test can be done at any clinic. The samples I had were preserved until cremation. The executed psionic was the mother. I know of two more. One died. The other was handed over to medics and died later. It was impossible for me to help them. Obviously, Mark and I are not the only ones who know about this kind of children. The vicar, the cardinals, not all of them. This topic is kept under wraps, to put it mildly. So everyone is silent, holding on tightly to their seats and positions. When you have everything, why would you change anything? You may not be the first to know. However, you may be the first who, in a position of power, is trying to save them. Where is the child now? Doesn't even get to see his father, Mark. As they said, the child is somewhere on a normal place for children who don't have parents, and she is normal teenager without any abilities. Excuse me, but why are you doing this, Monsieur Martin? As Luke correctly pointed out, you have everything. Evo's tone became sharp again. I call it Kate's tone. When I joined to the AC, I took the exact same oath in seminary as you did, to protect humanity to the last drop of my blood. From that day forth, its survival has been my greatest goal. I will not threaten the continued existence of humans as a species in any way, and will instead defend it by all available means. There was no part that said, if I become the prior, then sometimes I may not do it. The current situation is dangerous. It artificially inhibits science. It disrupts the natural processes of nature in the development of mankind. It is a direct threat to our species. Thank you for the clarification, Prior. Understood. So, I consider this to be a sufficient demonstration of a leader's trust in his subordinates, as well as an exhaustive introduction to the case at hand. Of course, there is some more information that I will provide along the way if necessary. What is required of you now is a clear understanding of how fragile the peaceful existence of society is. Before you destroy something, you need to know what to build in its place, and how. It doesn't take much intelligence or strength to shake things up and break them down, provoking chaos and rivers of blood. The prior stood up, moving toward the door of the office. I need to make changes to my schedule and talk to Hector. By the way, Daniel has known all about this for a long time, but Hector doesn't know. Let me remind you that cameras are everywhere in the Inquisition buildings, AC buildings, and church temples. If you need to talk about this, you can stay in this office. Mark, there should be no doubt in anyone's mind that you are going to continue your investigation into the assistance attempts. The prior lingered at the door. Monsieur Stone, Lou, you will definitely not be of any use to me today. You have too much to think about. Really deep story. The church is against psionics, yet Mark isn't. And then they all hide the truth of all the baby making problems. Yes, and they say that psionics are have dirty blood, like they are like broken, they are strange, and we need to protect the world from psionics. But the truth is that psionics came here to save the world, to save it, and people who doesn't have psionics something in their genetic genus, they can die. If they are stable, they can die. So being unstable and being psionic is good for living, for your blood, to live in this world. Being stable person, not very. And they say no, being stable, you're clear, you have a clear blood. If you're unstable or you're psionic, yeah. Monsieur Stone, Lou, you will definitely not be of any use to me today. You have too much to think about. However, I have an assignment for you. The matter of the hacked holograms came at a bad time. Find those responsible for it and convince them to sit quietly and not provoke unrest among the population. If they refuse, law enforcement will come to them, not the police, but the corps. Also, assess their general capabilities. They may be useful in the future. Oh my god, how long will I play? Please note that an interrogator has already been assigned to this case following the vicar's orders. I hope you get ahead of him again. Again? Fuck it. That Hans Guller bitch? It's Hans Guller. You have an advantage. Danielle has a lead. She's transfer funds to you for your expenses. Hector doesn't need to know about your assignment. Once Martin walked out, Lou muttered, surprised. I was waiting for him to tell us exactly what he was going to do. Maybe you had also like him to tuck you into bed? You think too highly of yourself, Mademoiselle Reed, don't you? To think the prior should report you? However, Monsieur finished on a softer note. He never lays down at his cards, all his cards. He never lays down all his cards, like he never say all the truth. Yeah, the less we know, the less we can blab about during blab? Blab, blab, blab? Like this? About during an interrogation. Nodding, Mark said goodbye to the psionics and also left the office. Lou looked at Stone. Lou swore up a storm, trying to convey all in one go the whole range of emotions she was experiencing and her general impression of what had just happened. I know the world is a shithole, but I never imagined it was this big of a shithole. This is fuck. To add to your allegory, it's simply that until today it was a familiar one. Lou laughed it nervously. Yeah. And then immediately losing her cheerfulness, she added, the vicar, he definitely has access to all this information. He's a psionic and yet, why fuck so much for being a mentor? Kai, you know, we could really do something here. I never knew you were craving to get tangled in political intrigue. Come on, you know it's not that. Every day someone gets hurt and someone dies, and it doesn't really concern me. To be honest, I don't care. I don't have the strength or the energy to worry about everyone. But when something happens right under my nose, when someone needs help, the empath chuckled. You can't ignore that, I remember. Damn, I don't want to get all pathetic and start moralizing. Just you don't like the system. You have run into someone who can change it, and you know that your help will come in handy. Are you sure he will change the system for the better? No, but this system is wrong, so we need to try a new one. If the next one is also rubbish, then it will have to be changed too. I like what you're saying. I'm just ranting. I'm actually scared, and all this isn't for me to decide, but that's how it should be. She rubbed her chest and frowned. This is how I feel. I understand. As long as my family doesn't get hurt, we will manage. This is a moment when we must do what they said in ancient times. We either come back with our shields or on them. It's been that way since our first day working with the prior. Guys, I will come back after 1 minute or 2 minutes. Okay? Taking advantage of Wei's lunch break, they decided to take a walk and talk her outside. Before that, Daniel asked, "Please look through your new clothes and pick what you need. I will send the rest back to the store immediately." Okay. Clothes. Open shoulders, comfortable dress. Everything is so bad. Okay. Comfortable dress. They walked together, talking in hushed voices. A company car followed them at a distance. I tried to track down the hackers, but these guys are gurus. Who? Yes, skills. I have ASMR on my boosty. It's better to go down and you will see something. Who? Oh. Yeah, understandable. Gurus as in masters, professionals. They left no trace. Their work is elegant and never seen before. Yes, skills, I even have long videos for 1 hour, so you will find something. Danielle, do you understand all this? Yes, I'm in the know, so to speak. Well, I dug deeper. Their methods reminded me of someone. A few years ago, there was a beautiful hack on the phone numbers database. The one who orchestrated everything became famous among hackers, almost like Mitnick. Is that very cool? Well, it's like being a first-stage psionic, but among hackers in the pre-storm times. Understood. So, something seemed familiar to me. Not a specific method, but the approach. It's like handwriting. Well, I dug into that old story and compared some details. I'm convinced that that person has something to do with our hack. The police were looking into it, but their trial went cold. They couldn't even discover their nickname. But I know it. On the net, among their own, this hacker is known as Foxy, and they are still active to these days. That's not much to go on. I'm sure that we should look for them intermediary. The police may not know that, by the way. Well, obviously. Actually, it's not that obvious. You're not looking for a junkie, are you? In the center, they practice hacking just as often as they do on the outskirts. There are plenty of hackers outside New Paris too. Daniel, what do you think? Could the police come to the same conclusion? Could the police come to the same conclusion? Theoretically, yes. But I doubt it. They have great experts among them, but the way they think, it's different. Stone chuckled. And you? I used to be a part of that world a long time ago. The police often assume that if you have money, you won't live in a bad neighborhood. Foxy definitely has money, but he is not tied down to one place only. Well, thanks, Danielle. Good luck. After saying goodbye, Waze got into the company car and the psionics walked down the streets. This episode is long, guys. Any thoughts on Termitary? 1. I don't know if it's any good, but I'd like to try it. None of Lou's acquaintances knew the area better than you and us, of course, but she decided to try not to involve him this time. Is this dangerous? No, I'm going to talk to someone. If it turns out to be a dead end, we will think of something else. Can I help? Not yet. Kay looked at his watch. I have to be at the shooting range. I should go so I don't annoy Barezzi. Yup, keep in touch then. After getting out of the shower, Lou dried her hair. Wow! Good. I want to support the author and get all of them. They really look good this time. Okay, like this. Lou's thoughts swirled in her head. She could think of nothing but psionics, their nature, their ancestry, and their position in society. So much bullying, so many restrictions, but the dress is so bad, guys. Can we please find something else? Kill Bill. So much bullying, so many restrictions. Yeah, I get it. Boarding schools are necessary. We need to learn how to control our psyche without causing collateral damage. We're not animals, but then why treat us like cattle? She quietly hit the wall with her fist. We're not animals, are we? They wouldn't let us get to that point, but what if this is all a mistake? She grimaced, arguing with herself. It's not a mistake. Psionics have children, ordinary children, and that's a fact. I had a hunch after seeing Edmund. I saw it, but I didn't want to believe it. What a What is that word? What a succinct expression Martin uses, correcting dogma. Dogma or faith? He's a politician. Is he trying to decide whether to use Letitia against the vicar? Lou groaned. That's it. That's enough. I have a very specific task I need to focus on. Esgy, she's in a different line of work, but she loves money and she may know people. I will give it a try. If this doesn't work, Shazam might agree to help, though he might ask for more money. Jonas will be my last resort. If only I could get some sleep before tonight. There was a knock at the door. Maybe now. Mirai vibes. Thanks for follow. Welcome, hot dog JJ. Mirai vibes. Now that scene will be Tina. Now will be that one episode. Are you ready? Hello. She darted into the room and then turned abruptly, staring into Lou's eyes. Are you with him? Crap. Great timing. Lou understood what, or rather who, that was about. But to give herself a little more time to adjust to the conversation, she asked, Who? With him. Don't play stupid. With Jonas. Pretending to be completely unbothered, Lou sat down on the bed. She silently pointed to the ottoman, inviting Kiddo to sit opposite her. She lit a cigarette. Tina remained standing. Come on, admit it! Lou sighed. Do I need to admit to anything? Do you really need this? What's that? Mirai vibes. Choose. What should I choose you this time? I don't know what to choose. Well, if she hurts us, Jonas would just heal us. I need to admit. Do I need to admit to anything? Yes. Can you explain why? Obviously not expecting such a question, Kira lowered her voice. Because. Then, starting to pace the room, she added, mumbling. Because we are friends. The anger in her voice cracked, breaking into sadness. Because I have no one more important to me than you guys and you. There were tears in her eyes. Tina. Kiddo collapsed to her knees and covered her face with her hands. The air in the room grew heavier and warmer. Standing up, Lou touched the table. It had warmed up perceptibly. She calmly approached Tina, knowing she could burn their whole room down. She's a psionic, she can really burn everything. She hugged her. Kiddo flinched and tried to break free, but Lou didn't let go, holding her even tighter. Come on, Tina. How could you? Do you love him? That question had already been looming in the corner of Lu's mind. She didn't even dare to ask herself about it. Tina repeated, "Do you love Jonas?" "I don't know. We have been friends for so long." "Okay, Skills. Good luck." Not sparing her already frayed nerves, doubt crawled inside her. "Seriously, you don't know? Or are you afraid to admit the truth?" Her heart ached. All possible sensible arguments, planned explanations, and proper ways to approach that conversation went to hell. Lou didn't feel guilty, but that didn't change anything. She felt sorry for Kira. There was a lump in her throat. "Please don't raid the heat. It's hot enough as it is." "Saying it to pyrokinesis. Yes, Lou. Very good." Tina looked up with tear-stained eyes. "You have been together for a long time, huh?" "No, we wouldn't hide it for that long. You started showing interest in Jonas before all of that." "Then how? Why did you do it behind my back, Lou?" "Well, we shouldn't have to ask for permission, should we?" "And what's between you two now?" "I don't know, it's complicated." "I love him." Lou took a couple of breaths before continuing. "Tina, are you sure about your feelings?" "I think about him all the time. He is sexy." "He is sexy. I'm interested in being with him. Isn't that love?" Would you want to live with him for the rest of your life?" "I don't know. Would you?" Kiro suddenly stood up. She opened the window, letting in fresh air. "Lou, I can't talk about this anymore, and I can't promise that I will stop talking to him." "I'd never ask that of you. We're from the same social group." "Well, yes. Lou spoke firmly as she also got up from the floor. "Yes, and no matter what happens between us, we will always stay together. Always together." "And if Jonas were with me, would you say the same thing?" "Of course." Tina looked into her eyes as if searching for a catch. After a few long moments, clearly trying to put her hurt feelings aside, she spoke again. "I believe you, Lou. You're very dear to me, and Jonas too, but it hurts so much." Kiddo. "I will go." "Stay here. Sit with me. Want to take a shower?" "Ah? You were really worked up. You showed your psy." Lou didn't really expect Kiddo to follow her advice, but Tina nodded seriously. "Well, pyrokinesis are trained the hardest of all. To control their psy, they need to stop feeling intense emotions. What a wonderful and wise woman you are becoming." "Aw, Tina is growing." After calming down, Tina drank some tea, and only then did she go home. The tension between them hadn't disappeared completely, but there was no animosity anymore. "That's fine. It will blow over somehow. I hope she will stop stressing herself out, and I need to stop doing that to myself too." Once alone, Lou dialed Jonas' number. The moment he picked up, she immediately asked, "By the way, Mirai Vibes, in the same scene, if we are not with Jonas, if we are with Kay, if we are with Evo, the situation will be the same, but Kiddo will find Jonas with a girl making love. Maybe it will not be relationships, just one night stand or something like this. and Kiro will also burst into tears, will come to us and will cry, Jonas with a girl, Jonas with a girl doing something. They are doing, I thought, and yeah. So there is no way that Kiro will be with Jonas. Growing through the hardest pain of heartbreak. Oh, with another one. Yeah. Busy? He is so beautiful, you see, he's so beautiful, Jonas. No, I'm just sitting here doing paperwork. Do you also have reports to file? Half of my work is paperwork. Kiro came by. They asked the same question at the same time. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yes, of course. How is she? As expected, she's upset. She seemed more confused than angry. We talked it over. I think everything will be fine. Well, okay, thank you for calling. That's a relief. You didn't answer me. How are you? Fabulous, I'm a star. What do you mean? I mean, I'm a celebrity at work. I can sign autographs. She yelled at me right outside the windows of the staff room during lunch break. I see a full house. Crap. It's not a big deal. Getting to know my coworkers better. Wait a second, did this happen at the hospital in the center? Yep. Imagining the situation, Louis sympathized. Very much so, but it was also pretty funny. Her tense nerves loosened a bit. Damn, oh, I'm sorry. That sucks. Now you must have quite a reputation. I'm glad you're having fun. She could almost see the smile in Jonas' eyes. I've always appreciated your support. I'm sorry, really. Without waiting for Lou to say goodbye, Jonas asked, will you come by today? Yes, of course. Should I pick you up from the hospital? That would be great. I will text you when I get out. This just affected your relationship with Jonas. After ending the call, Lou scratched her neck. Should I clean up or go grocery shopping? No. I was gonna get some sleep. That's a good idea. Once she lay in bed, all her other thoughts faded away until only those about Jonas remained. Lou remembered how they used to communicate. She anxiously tried to determine if something had changed in their conversations, in their directness, or in their openness. No, nothing's changed. It's just that now we are also sleeping together. Jonas was strong and sharp-tongued and barely so at times. Hello. I can always rely on him, no matter what. And even when he and Lou fought, he remained my person. The next word that came to mind was too loud. Lou always had such a hard time with it, but it fit best. My family. Oh, that's so nice. I'm so hungry, Lou. I'm so hungry. Why your episode is so long? Focusing on what was going on in her soul, she smirked and shook her head. He's so great. He is so great in bed. But just because I'm going to his place today, it doesn't mean that we will sleep together. We can just chat without... Amazing. Shameless. Well, we can't do it without it. She closed her eyes. Of course, Lou. Of course, darling. With that music? Let's go. The light behind her closed eyelids was obscured by a shadow. Lou lightened her arms around Jonas' tense body as he orgasmed. A few frenzied movements, a slight shudder, and then he relaxed, laying down on his back next to her. fuck? I didn't mean for this to happen, but here we are. Flirtatiously, she ran her fingertips below Jonas' navel. I don't understand half of the words, guys. He shielded himself with his thigh, avoiding the carelessness that would otherwise excite him. I have no idea what is that. I'm reading. Lou smiled and lightly pinched his butt. Butt? Oh, Lou, you're not going to let me just lie here for a bit, are you? Jonas stood up and moved away from the bed. He opened a bottle of water. A bottle of water. He noticed Lou's underwear on the floor behind the bedside table and picked it up. I rarely like it when someone scatters things around, but you do a great job of it. It's fun to gather them. It's almost like an adult quest. Picking up his cigarettes and flicking a lighter, Jonas suddenly turned serious. What happened? Wait, so you say I paid for this? Like, almost nothing happened? Like, it was like the end of their things? Really? That's so strange. Okay. Lou, I can see that you feel like crap. You vent your anger in bed. Are you sure you're with me right now? No picture again. She sat up, pulling her knees to her chest. Yes, does it bother you? Do you feel better afterward? I think so. Then what difference does it make? I'm sorry. Can you tell me what's wrong? I want to. Tears suddenly welled in her eyes. She can't even talk about it because it's her work. I wanted to tell you. I want to hear your thoughts, but I can't. He approached her and gave her a hug. Help me get through this, but without asking me anything. Jonas didn't ask any more questions. Lou pressed her trembling lips to his. Help me stop thinking about it, at least here with you. The healer silently ran a warm hand over her shoulder. Kissing her face, he caught every tear that rolled down her cheeks. Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. His fingers weightlessly slid down Lou's spine. She clung to Jonas passionately. He covered her in caresses, hiding her from everything and everyone. All his technical skills suddenly gave way to genuine care. The wildfire on their passion stopped demanding sharpness of movement, instead carefully wrapping their bodies in warmth. Lou succumbed to it, forgetting and letting go of all her anxieties. Jonas shared her pain. Healers couldn't do that, of course. They didn't know how to heal a soul, but Psy had nothing to do with that. But if he was if it was her partner at work, he can change your mood a little. He can change a mood, I think, if he's strong enough. She really wanted to stay overnight, but there were things she had to do. Alongside her laziness, a pleasant lightness and relaxation washed over her body. I have no idea what we used to be like anymore, Jonas. With Kay, yeah. No, I mean, Kay can change her, maybe, mood even. By nightfall, it was raining again. Stepping over the bottles, Lou walked toward the sign reading Products 24. As she entered the store, she pulled down her foot. A skinny guy in a wet hoodie hunched over the checkout counter. She was in no hurry, so she waited, pretending to look at the shelves lined with cheap beer. Oh, he is not here for food. Esgy, who recognized Lou, openly handed the client a small package. The junkie slipped it under his clothes and walked out. When the door closed behind him, Lou said hello. Hey. Hello. You were here not that long ago, weren't you? Or are you here for a beer today? I'm looking for someone. I will pay you well for your help. Actually, information isn't my strong suit. All sorts of people come to see you. Esgy shrugged. Well, let's talk about it. How much? Lou reached across the counter and turned the cash register toward her. She clicked on a few buttons to dial in her offered amount. Let's say this much. Of course, I can ask around, but I can't promise anything. Who do you need to find? Foxy. Who is that? I need to get an idea in order to know where to ask. A hacker. A drunken, noisy group burst into the store. Esgy threw Lou a meaningful glance. Have you decided? Yes. I don't like this. I don't drink this. I don't smoke, but I like candles. The black one. While handing her the purchase, Esgy said, "We will try to get your order in store as soon as possible." Thank you. Pulling out a cigarette and bringing her new lighter to it, Lou pushed open the door. Once outside, she could still hear cheerful voices behind her. We will have 3 beers, some whiskey powder, and something to eat. I'm so hungry. Oh, it's going to be a little while. I hope nothing happens in the meantime. Thanks God, it's the end. Oh yes, I'm so hungry.